This video is going to help you explore how the Rome went from a republic to being an empire. You'll remember when we first started looking at Rome that it started out as a collection of tribes, the hills around Rome, and then became a city, then grew to a republic. And then it went to being a empire, and we want to see how that happened. So what we're going to focus on is what factors led to the decline of the Roman Empire and the rise of led to the decline of the Republic and led to the rise of the empire, so how it made that transition. By the end of these series of videos on the Roman Republic going to becoming an empire, you will understand how the Roman Republic grew through a series of conquests. You'll be able to identify the events leading to the decline of the Roman Republic, and you'll be able to describe the nature of the new age that dawned with the Roman Empire. Some terms, people, and places that you need to become familiar with are imperialism, latifundia, Tiberius Gracchus, Gaius Gracchus, Julius Caesar, census, and Hadrian. Those will be addressed in later sections. So first we're going to look at how Rome grew through conquest. Rome fought a series of wars between 264 BC and 146 BC. These were known as the Punic Wars, and they were wars between Rome and Carthage. Punicus is Latin for Phoenicians, and when we look at the map, we see that Rome is here in modern-day Italy, and this orange represents the territory that Rome had developed. Now, the yellow down here in Africa and on these islands, they represent the territory that Carthage owned. And Carthage was settled by the Phoenicians. So in the first Punic War, Rome defeated Carthage. It won the islands of Sicily, Corsica, and Sardinia. So these three islands here had been owned by Carthage. Now Rome has them as a result of the first Punic War. So Rome defeated Carthage and won the islands of Sicily, Corsica, and Sardinia. The Second Punic War began in 218 BC. The Carthaginians sought revenge for the First Punic War. And in the Second Punic War, we have Hannibal, General Hannibal, leading his army across the Pyrenees, through France, and over the Alps into Italy. His army actually included dozens of war elephants, which are quite terrifying to the Romans. So his trip over through the Pyrenees and the Alps cost him a third of his army, but he surprised the Romans because the Romans were expecting an attack from the south. Remember, Carthage is south of Rome, so that's where they were expecting the attack to come from, and Hannibal attacked from the north. So he spent 15 years moving across Italy, winning battle after battle, just destroying Italy, destroying the Romans. He failed to capture the city of Rome itself. He just destroyed a lot of the territory around Rome. And finally, the Romans sent an army to Carthage to attack Carthage to try to stop Hannibal. Hannibal left Italy, went back to Carthage to try to defend his home city, but he was defeated. As a result, Carthage gave up all of its lands outside of Africa, The Romans still saw Carthage as a rival, and they wanted revenge for all of the damage and havoc that Hannibal had wreaked on the land for those 15 years. The Senator Cato ended every speech that he gave in the Senate with the sentence, Carthage must be destroyed. So they were not very happy about this. We take a minute to look at a map of the Punic Wars. We see that you can see this, the red line here represents Hannibal's route, where he traveled from Carthage across the Pyrenees. It's the mountain range that goes between modern day Spain and Gaul, France, up through the Alps and down into Italy. And so he traveled all over Italy, but he was never able to take Rome. And then he returns home to Carthage to try to defend it against the Roman army, and he is defeated. So they lose that. They lose that battle. So Hannibal was defeated, but even though the Romans won the Second Punic War, they still wanted revenge, which leads us to the Third Punic War. Because Rome wanted that revenge, they attacked Carthage. They completely destroyed the city of Carthage. All the survivors were killed, so I guess they're not really survivors, but or they were sold into slavery and became slaves in Rome, in Italy, in the Rome. The land was salted, so they threw salt on the land, which meant that crops would not be able to grow there anymore. So they destroy any chance of the Carthaginians being able to live in their land. With this, the Romans become masters of the Western Mediterranean. So they take over that land that used to belong to the Carthaginians.